YouTube, preppers, and like-minded people. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, disclaimer, this video might hit a little touchy subjects, so if you don't really like other people's views, you might want to just move on to the next video. But we're here to talk about lockdowns that are going to be coming up and what to prep for, kind of what I'm prepping for, and a little insight on that. You see it right now all across the news. They're getting people situated in the mindset that lockdowns are going to be coming. You see it across the globe, so it's going to be coming home, and we're going to I'm going to try and help you out and get you on the right foot so that people aren't in a bad situation like last year, such as running out of toilet paper and things of that nature. So let's get into this. Things that you're going to be wanting to look to stock up before the lockdowns happen. There's going to be a few things. You're going to be looking at fuel. So if you're carrying any generators around, you're going to want different types of fuels for that. You're going to want oils, lubricants to maintain certain machinery, depending on your lawnmowers, again, your vehicles, anything that actually runs that you use on a day-to-day, your chainsaws if you're using that for heating your house, whatever it may be. Make sure you get all your lubricants and your oils, your fuels all together and stocked up. Get some fuel stabilizers as well, because you don't know with the way things are going. You could have another cyber attack where it shuts down fuel for a certain amount of time, and so you want to be prepared for that. You're going to want your consumables that you use every day. Whatever that may be, everyone has a different thing. You're going to want paper towels, you're going to want toilet paper, paper plates. Paper plates, now if you're going into a lockdown or any SHTF situation does arise, you're going to want to have paper plates, because you might have water that's scarce at the moment. You might not have power to power certain devices like your pump in your well to get water up. So paper plates are a great thing to have around, especially if you have a family or you have a community of preppers gathering to make food for a whole bunch of people. Paper plates are great. Cleaning supplies, you're going to want like soaps, bleach, things of that nature. You're going to also want things for like band-aids, things if you get injured, so tourniquets, any first aid kits. You're going to want to stock up on things of that nature. Canned foods and grains. Go out there and grab it while it's still relatively cheap. Any of your beans, your grains, go to Costco, stock up on those big canned food items that they have there. Tuna is a great one. We got lots of tuna. You know, the canned foods really stores for a long time. You're going to also want to get into your flours, your sugars, coffees, and powdered milk. If we go into a grid down situation, you can get back to the old ways of bartering with people, because you're always going to want to make some bread. Sugars, here in North America, we're addicted to sugar, so sugar is always a good thing to have. Tea also on top of the coffee, because caffeine is always something that you're going to want to have on hand, especially if you're going into a stressful situation, just to keep yourself a little bit more alert. If you have any medical issues, make sure you get refills on your prescriptions, whether that be if you're a diabetic or you need some blood thinners, or just your simple Advils and pain management pills that you can get over the counter or just at your local shoppers, whatever it is. Batteries and chargers, you're also going to want that. Understand also where you're going to be charging these batteries from. If you're on solar, you're going to want to make sure that you charge when you have a good solar charge coming in. and just be conscious of those things. And now you also want to get your house in order. I've seen all over Instagram, and if you guys haven't followed us on Instagram yet, I highly recommend you do, because you get a little bit more background as to or behind the scenes as to what we do on our day-to-day on Instagram rather than on YouTube. So get your house in order. That means make sure your backup power that you have for your house, if you have it, is in good running condition. If you haven't ran your generator yet this year, it's a good time to do that now before it's too late. Make sure you have security, because in rough times you're gonna have people come in for whatever it may be. So make sure you get your security in order, whatever that may be. Just security systems, things that are around the house, stock up on ammo, whatever it may be. Again, with the medical side, get your medical, financials. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. So for me, for instance, I've diversified in many different areas, so that way no matter where the hit is, I'll be good perhaps. So don't just keep your money in the stocks. Diversify a little bit into different investments. Get into a little bit of crypto also. And what I also recommend is you getting back to the basics of actual gold and silver. And I'm not talking about buying gold bonds. I'm talking physical currency, gold and silver. That I would highly recommend, because say the system does go down and you can't get to the bank in time to pull out some cash. You're gonna need some a reserve, right? So that's another point. While things are up, go and pull out a bunch of cash and sit on cash, because again, if the grid goes down, cash you'll have on hand, or gold and silver at that time. And I'm talking real gold and silver. So you can, I'll leave a link in the description below where I actually like to go and purchase gold and silver, and they're pretty reliable and fairly well priced too. Find like-minded individuals. That is a very tough thing to do these days, especially with such division. So make sure the like-minded individuals think the same way, they have the same train of thought. You don't want people that are just there to gather information now or take from you. You want people that can also help within your community of like-minded people, that if things do happen, you have someone that knows how to cook, someone who has medical experience, someone who can hunt or trap, something of those, so that everybody works in unison and can help one another when times do get tough. And we're going to get into that right now too. I've seen a lot of people, and it must be because of the last 16 months that a lot of people are getting into the prepper side of things in their lives. And that's understandable, because it's been a lot of ups and downs, and a lot of unknown information, a lot of hidden information that's coming into light nowadays. So people are realizing that they're going to need to be more self-dependent, and especially those people that are down in Texas and they had the power grid go down there, or if you look at the pipeline that was shut down there a few months ago, and people were short on fuel and they couldn't get fuel. So I think a lot of these things that are happening across the globe are making people realize that they're going to have to rely more on themselves, and things aren't going to be always roses and rainbows every day. Things do happen, and with the way the things are going nowadays, you just don't know. And panic buying, you just don't want to get into panic buying, because that it can get ugly, and you see it simply when you see like Black Friday and stuff like that, people trampling stuff, people for each other, or buying stuff. So imagine when there SHTF happens or there's some sort of collapse, when people are actually panicking, you do not want to be anywhere near those crowds because it's going to get dirty. Another thing I think that we should look at when we're looking at what to prep for is what's possible and what's probable. So yeah, you can have a killer bee swarm attack, you can have earthquakes, you can have all that stuff, but look at what's probable. So I looking at the world right now. You got mass injections going on across the globe with no facts at all, and a lot of things hidden. You have cyber attacks. I think that's going to be more and more probable, and I'm not saying that they're going to be attacks. They could be what you call inside jobs. Again, I'm not trying to put a damper on things, but fear is one of the biggest drivers of compliance in humans. So as long as the fear is there, it's easier to control the people and what they do. And people that are in fear are also unpredictable. So I feel cyber attacks is going to be happening more and more as time progresses and as we get into the fall and winter cycle again. And I don't think that we're going to actually have a huge, just all of a sudden flip the switch and the economy is going to fall. It's going to be done over a shorter or a longer period of time, and where people do not realize what's happening. And that's going to be your economic collapse. Just slowly, people can't work here, you can't work there, people are not going to have the money coming in, being more dependent on government services and government handouts. And you can see that happening now with universal basic income and things of that nature. So understand what's probable and what's possible, and distinguish between the two of those. And for instance, we really aren't in earthquake prone area, but we do have wildfires. So prep for wildfires, get sprinklers set up, make sure you have a good water source, your water transfer pumps are working when the time comes, so that you're not scrambling trying to fix things when your fires do come. So look at what's really going on in your life as opposed to the global scale. And we're going to get into how to kind of process everything and plan everything out. And when you are in an economic collapse, the government was never set up to take care of everybody in an economic collapse. And you see that all over the place, because if they were designed like that, it'd be a different world, and it's actually not. So understand that. And one thing I would recommend is you turn off your TV and stop watching stop watching the news. It's really fear-mongering, and it's each news station has their own political stance. It creates a lot of division, and there's a saying that I saw that if you watch the news, you're misinformed, and if you don't watch the news, you're uninformed. So take that and think about that. And they're not going to talk about the issues that are actually happening in the world. They're going to push the narrative of whoever's supplying the dollars. There's many news stations up here in Canada that are government funded, and the government has said that they're going to withdraw their funding if they don't push a certain narrative out there to the people. So when you're being funded by billions of dollars a year, I'm sure you yourself would be pushing a narrative or a storyline that you've been told to push, even though it's not actually happening. So shut the TV off and kind of just understand what's going on. And the thing is, though, the people that do watch the news and things of that nature, they are living in a fantasy and ignoring the actual problems that we have in the world, and what we're actually facing. You can look at the facts and you look at the news, and you're gonna sit there, and I'm not saying just take the facts that you hear from the news. Take actual numbers, do your own studying, and you're gonna understand how much the curtains are being pulled over your eyes. And these things are something that you're gonna realize one day or another, either sooner or later. And if it's the later, it might be too late for you then too. So dig into some of the facts and look behind the scenes of what's being pushed on the television these days. It's not news anymore, it's propaganda. And at what point do you take news to be propaganda? It's happened in history before, and you know, you believe it or not, it's happening now. And start at the local situation and go from there. So, like I said, keep your house in order. If you're living in a fire-prone area, prep your area like that. If you have mass homelessness, you might want to protect your house a little bit more, be more secure. If you're in a heavily populated area, you might want to see about barring your windows and doors, because people are unpredictable. I don't believe we are going to be going into better times anytime soon. I think it's going to be more of a slow burn to a worse state than we are. And there's not going to be a middle class. They're going to try and eradicate the middle class. And once there's a division between the top and the low, the masses always wins. And if you look at history books, the people always win. And if you're on the wrong side of the history, you're gonna get the dirty end of the stick, if you understand what I'm trying to say. So if you're watching mainstream media or anything like that, listen to what they do and do what they're doing to you on social media, and fact check them. Go and look at other reliable sources out there, and think for yourself. We have been taught these days not to have any critical thinking skills. Even in school, you're taught not to question anything. The books that you're reading, what the teacher's teaching you, none of that. You are not taught to think for yourself. And I think that's really what we're losing nowadays, is the critical thinking side of things. So think for yourselves. Look at the facts and go from there. Thanks for joining me today on this video. If you have any questions, comments, leave them in the comment section down below. I'll leave the link down there for the gold and silver bowl there, so you can check them out if you live in Canada, and I think they're in the US as well. And I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks again.